Please let's listen to this video by AY and I'll be back.
You see, for some time now, I stopped attending church. Not because I stopped believing in God, also not because I lost my faith. I was actually navigating a very personal season. A negative narrative was put out there on the blogs against me. Part of that decision was because I just didn't want to become the subject of whispered conversations. I was invited to be part of an upcoming program. Later, after some internal discussions, I was told I would no longer be participating because of concerns about public perception surrounding me.
So for the sake of our time, I'm not going to be playing the whole video, but in summary, we already understand the point he was trying to make. And for AY, as a Christian myself who goes to church, I would like to say it's unfortunate that you had to experience what you experienced, and which has created an impression in your mind, okay? It's so unfortunate that that had to happen. AY, I want to say that the church has done you no bad. If you know God for yourself, keep going to church. I'm not here to disagree or dispute whatever anybody has said, okay? But I'm just here to say one or two things and then ask a question. For you that is offended that the church, expects you to be perfect or expects everyone to be perfect to be accepted, and you get angry and you stop attending the church. Why exactly are you angry, if I must ask? Now I want to ask a question. You are angry, you stop going to church because you feel that, okay, you are being judged because of your imperfection, right? Fine. Now if you stop going to church because of this particular reason, do you know that you are not in any way different from these people that you are condemning, or these people that you feel have offended you or have done you bad? Because tell me, if you do not share the same sentiment with them about this particular thing you are complaining about, you would see it that we are all imperfect. So this is another aspect of our human imperfection playing out in these people. And you just overlook, do the needful, and move on. Because if you are not expecting them to be perfect, you won't get offended by what they have done or what they have said to you. I have to tell you that this church that we are pointing fingers, saying that the church has done this, the church has done that, it's still you and I that are doing these things to ourselves. And we all know that I am not perfect, you are not perfect. So if I, the imperfect one, is offended that you, another imperfect one, has done me something, that means I'm not being balanced with my judgments. Because if a young believer hears somebody like AY saying about how he has stopped going to church because of the way he was treated or the way he was perceived, the young believer will be like, then me that have not even started, how will I be received or how will I be welcomed? There are some things that whenever we are doing, we should, like the Bible said, we are not just, it's not just about how we feel or how that has made us feel. So there are some things that as Christians, when we want to react to it or want to respond to them, let's not just put ourselves alone in the picture. Let's not all be selfish. Like the Bible said, whatever you are doing as a Christian, just ask yourself this question: this thing I'm about to say or this thing I'm about to do, how would it affect a young believer, a growing Christian? Because there are some things that we do as Christians, as well-grounded Christians, that like might not really be a sin. Do you understand? Like going by the Bible, it's not a sin, but that thing, that act might make an upcoming or a young Christian to fall. And that is what the Bible asks us to be wary of, to be aware of, because they have not gotten that depth of Christianity. They have not gotten the depth of the word that you have. I'm not talking about like sin. I'm just talking about basic things, some things that we will do that is not even a sin, but a young Christian would not understand it that way. We are all working towards perfection. So if I am imperfect and the other person is imperfect and the other person is imperfect and we all gather, there must, like, our imperfections must play out in one way or the other. As humans, it's okay for us to be offended. It's okay for us to not be comfortable with what one or two persons have done to us. But it is now our end reaction that really matters. So if I take to heart what somebody has done to me, what my fellow imperfect human being has done to me in the church, and I stop going to the church, that means what I am saying is that I expect this person to be perfect while I am not. That is what it means. So when it comes to this issue of I stopped going to church because of this, I stopped going to church because of that, I'm sorry to say it is irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. You can worship God anywhere, but as a Christian, one of the most significant, one of the things we need to do is to go to church, fellowship with our fellow brethren. That's one of the most significant things that I know that Christians are known for. Because this issue of I don't go to church, I worship online is becoming too rampant, becoming too common that like I don't know where this would eventually lead us to. because I don't know what the upcoming generations are going to learn or what they are going to believe moving forward. I go to work, I work with people, and I don't get to be treated the way I want to be treated every single time. Do I now stop going to work because I get this unfair treatment from some people? And these are people that I get to meet every single day. We shouldn't make the church look like it's only for the perfect people. We should make it a place where anybody can walk in regardless of how filthy you think you are. We should give room to these people that have made their mistakes. We should give them the room to climb that pulpit, tell us what their experiences are. Because in telling us what their experiences are, it will help the congregation, it will help us not to fall into the pits that they are falling into. That is how I see it. Because I believe that they would help so many people that are already in that path, towards that mistake that they have made. So for someone like AY that we already have a perception of him, to tell people what to do to avoid the mistakes he has made, if actually all we heard of him is right, he can tell us what it is, his mistakes, his errors, so that people will also avoid falling into that pit, so that we don't so that we stop having this recycling effect of evildoers. Those evildoers can also come share their experience, help us out, so that many people that are already in that path would have a change of mind. If we give the people the room to come as they are in church without giving them that side eye of this adulterer, this fornicator, we never can tell. They might hear the word that they need to hear to have them have a transformed mind. So I want to say that the church has done you no bad. If you know God for yourself, keep going to church. Yeah, keep going to church. So I've had encounters that ordinarily would have made, not once, not twice, I've had encounters that ordinarily would have made me say, I would never step my feet into a church. But I look at it, I'm not a Christian because I was born a Christian. I'm not a Christian because my dad is a pastor in the Redeemed Church. I'm not a Christian because the society says so. I'm a Christian because I have had an encounter. I'm a Christian because God has shown me that he has me in mind. I'm a Christian because Christ died for me, first and foremost. That's what makes me a Christian. So that price is enough for me not to disappoint him because of one unpleasant thing that somebody has done or did or said to me. I would say, no, that blood that was shed is too precious, it's too costly for me to allow what somebody has done or said or whatever. So for those of us that are bragging how we have stopped going to church, how we have stopped, well, I'm not here to say you must go to church, but it is very important as a Christian.